So, good day everyone. We will be discussing the last part of the physical development, the last part of the summary of the physical development, wherein it is under the part of adolescence, the high school learners, ranging the age of starting from the age of 11 years old. So let's start. The content of this report will be the introduction, of course, about the adolescence for us to have a little bit of understanding. The second one will be the puberty, where the puberty changes. The third one will be the factors affecting the development. Fourth one will be the secular trend. We have the sexual identity. The sixth one will be the self-esteem. The seventh one will be the application for childcare, education, and parenting. This has something to do with the nurture and the nature. The second one will be the adolescence and its nutrition, body image, and again, adolescence. So let's start with adolescence. Adolescence is a stage of human development that coincides with puberty, a biological development occurring at the average age of 11 for girls and 12 for boys. There are factors, however, which contributes to early puberty and delayed puberty. These factors include heredity, diet, exercise, and socio-environmental influences. Adolescence is a period of transition of a human being, through physical, cognitive, and social-emotional changes. This could be the early adolescence that is characterized by puberty, maybe at the age of 11 for girls and 12 for boys, and for middle adolescents may meet a sexual identity within the ages of 14 to 16 rather, and the third one will be the late adolescence, marks the transition into adulthood age, ages from 17 to 20. Okay, so the next one will be the puberty changes. Puberty changes talks about the human hormone flooding rather, wherein there is an acceleration of hormones secretion and known as the growth spurts, wherein it includes a change of body dimension, the changes in legs length, shoulder width, trunk length, wherein the spurt in height, body dimensions is ascribed to not only in trunk growth but also in leg growth. Example of a growth spurt, just like this example here, this kid, a freshman to his junior to being a NCAA freshman until such time NBA star. So this is an example of a growth spurt for the male. In girls, because there is a difference, of course, distinction between the growth spurt in girls and for boys. In girls, the growth spurt really begins at the age of 10, reaching its peak at the age of 11 and a half, while continual growth occurs several more years. For boys naman, the growth spurts begin at the age of 12, reaching at the peak of 12 to 14 and declining at the age of 15 and a half, while slow continual growth continues for several more years. Among the girls, 98% of adult height is generally reached at the age of 16, while boys at the age of 17. But of course, it changes. It depends on the generation. The next one will be factors affecting the development. The first one will be secretion of gonadotropic hormones. What are these gonadotropic hormones? These are hormones that will be secreted by the pituitary gland at the base of our brain, wherein it is responsible for the testicle to produce testosterone, and for the female organ, of course, to the ovary to produce estrogen. The second one will be the appearance of the gonads. The appearance of the gonads refers to the male testis and the female ovaries, wherein it is stimulated, of course, by the secretion of the gonadotropic hormones. The third one will be the stimulation causes by the secretion of testosterone for the male sex organ and estrogen for the female ovary. In male, the testosterone, we have here the spermage enlargement of the testis gland that produces sperm. Spermage enlargement refers to the rapid growth or the enlargement of the reproductive part of the male that produces the gland that produces the sperm in the scrotum, of course, the overall growth of the male reproductive system for the copulation. The second one will be the capacity of the male reproductive system for the ejaculation of sperm. The third one will be the voice changes. So as we observe when at the stage of adolescence, the male changes its voice and into a more muscular voice. The fourth one would be the facial hair development. As we all know that the development of hair is more likely into male. The second one will be in female estrogen, the enlargement of the breast, of course. The second one will be the appearance of the pubic hair. The third one will be the widening of hips, and the fourth one will be the menarche. When you say menarche, if male, we are talking about the spermarchy, or the production of the sperm, where in the menarche we are referring to the menstruation. So next one will be the secular trend. What is secular trend? It is a phenomenon of more rapid physical maturation in this century. A secular trend refers to the difference between generation by generation, or a big gap between centuries. Why is it so? Because in late 1800s, the age of 15 to 17 will be the first menstrual period for the female, and for the male, they reach a maximum height at the age of 18 to 20 and 13 to 14 for girls. But then, at the adult height, 100 years after, was 23 to 25 for boys and 19 to 20 for girls. Secular trend is ascribed to varied factors such as interaction of genetic and environmental influences, improved health, care, and living conditions, and control of infectious diseases. So secular trend may be the basis of secular trend may be the changes through generations, or the gap, or the interval, or what happened between a generation to another generation after a century, for example. If there is of course, a development of technology, and in 1800s the women are oppressed, so there may be some effects on the physical development of male and female depending on the generation they live in, especially the environmental interaction that they do within generation. The third one that we have here is the sexual identity. Of course, after the development of the gonads and everything, the production of the hormones, of course, there will be such time that adolescents will have sexual exploration and experimentation with sexual fantasies and realities of incorporating sexuality with one's identity, as quoted by Sandrak of 2005. So continuing, sexual identity in adolescence involves orientation, of course, sexual orientation, activities, interests, and style of behavior. Adolescent sexual identity involves this orientation, activities, interests, as quoted by Bagwell and Rosenthal of 1996. Some adolescents are very anxious about their sex and sexual activity, and others only a bit anxious about their sex. Okay, so the first one that involves here will be the sexual identity, sexual orientation, which refers to the person's tendency to be attracted to how do you say this? Same sex or homosexual. We have also the opposite sex or heterosexual, and then both sexes for the bisexual orientation. Adolescents do develop a sexual orientation, which is a matter of great debate. The second one will be the LGBT. As we all know that in this generation, as we have discussed as the secular trend a while ago, LGBT is a new thing introduced within a century, because LGBT do not actually exist 100 years ago, a century ago. So, a development analyst Freud proposed a model for the development of homosexual identity. For the gay, lesbian, and transgender, it begins to recognize and make sense of their feelings, which we'll be discussing here, the homosexual identity. So what is homosexual identity? Homosexual identity, a model that explains these four statements here. We have here sensitization marked by the child's becoming aware of the same-sex attraction. Of course, as the child becomes adolescent, the curiosity becomes fiery. So of course, the adolescents are prone to exploration. So as they become aware of the same-sex attraction, the second one will be an identity confusion, because the youth may ask, if there is this kind of attraction, so there might be a reason of the youth to be overwhelmed of feelings of inner turmoil regarding sexual orientation. The third one will be the identity as an assumption when adolescents come out of the family and assume a self-definition as a gay, lesbian, or bisexual. So after the exploration of their curiosity about the same-sex attraction, and they become overwhelmed of feelings, and they become so observant of their feelings during their daily living, until such time that they made an assumptions, and they come out of their family and they assume, and they put a self-definition of being a gay, lesbian, and a bisexual. The first one will be the commitment of the young adult to their sexual identity or the sexual identity that they have adopted as their lifestyle. So that's the model for the development of homosexual identity model of Freud. Now we have here the four parts, the four last part. First one will be the self-esteem. Self-esteem is a major aspect identity formation during the period of adolescence is self-esteem. Self-esteem is defined as one of the thoughts, feelings of oneself, concept, and identity. Most theories of self-esteem state that there is a grand desire across all gender and ages to maintain, protect, and enhance self-esteem. Self-esteem is one self, let's say, it could be comparable to, of course, to self-confidence. So why is it so important for the for an adolescent to have self-esteem in correlation to its physical development? Because without self-esteem, it may destroy the competence of a adolescent, changing the way of its thinking. So if the adolescent's way of thinking may change, so it may also change its lifestyle that may affect the physical development of an adolescent. Self-esteem may fluctuate rapidly, so cause severe distress and anxiety. Girls may enjoy self-esteem through supportive relationship with friends and others who can provide social and moral support. In contrast, boys are more prone to assert their independence, defining their relationship, depriving self-esteem from their ability to successfully influence others. Failure to meet the affection of opposite sex can be a major contributor to low self-esteem in adolescent boys. And the end of romantic relationship can affect boys and girls, but girls are twice likely to experience depression because boys are 3 to 4 times more likely to commit suicide after a romantic relationship. After the end of a romantic relationship. The second one will be the implications of childcare education and parenting. To meet the physical development of adolescent children, parents should be aware of manifestations of behavior patterns that require closer communication, guidance, and support. So this, dito darating yung nature at saka nurture. Even though there are biological nature of a human being, of an adolescent, of course there is a need of nurture during the development of during the life of an adolescent, wherein there is an application of childcare, education, of course, and the parenting. Without the guidance and parenting, pwedeng malulong sa gadgets, addictive to gadgets, video games, mobile phone communication, and social media posting. Addictive. It could be addictive. Today's generation with the technology, it will always be addictive. But without the guidance and parenting of the parents, it may affect the development of the adolescents. In schools, of course, for the education, teachers needs to be aware of the possible drop in self-esteem among adolescent learners. The teachers should support and crucial and protect adolescent learners against severe stress, anxiety over their schoolwork and social relationships. So it's not only about teaching what is in the book. It's also teaching the reality, how realistic life is, and how to deal with realistic problems. Okay, the second to the last one will be the adolescence and nutrition. It talks about the vitamins that needed by the body for the adolescents to have a well-physic body and a well-developed body without the deprivation of some nutrients and minerals needed by the body to develop fully. We have here the vitamin B12, calcium, zinc, iron, riboflavin, and vitamin D. We also need the balance of vegetable and consumption and avoid poor eating habit rather. Okay. The last one will be the body image in adolescents. Because as adolescents grow with their physical development, they become so aware of their body image as an adolescent. So what they need to maintain is, of course, the cleanliness and grooming, the proper washing of clothes according to the current styles, how they erect their body posture while they stand, and because body posture, of course, it affects the self-esteem and the confidence of the adolescents or the young adults. We have also the eye contact while communicating. The last one will be the proper decorum, good form and confidence, and the decency of the young adults. So that would be the last part of my report. Thank you for listening. That would be all. Thank you.